you ready for an adventure? Wonder what we're going to find on this spring day.
High pressure, so if you were to dig here, what might happen? So things feel pretty dead here right now still. But there's a stirring in the breeze that makes me think spring's coming. Alright, good morning from this wetland in Moab, Utah. One of the first things that cues us into spring is the birds. What kind of patterns do birds have in the springtime? Okay, so I found a really nice sit spot right here in the grass. Feels really comfortable. And I have a view of two of the bird feeders, or the bird houses, and I'm going to see if I see any birds come. I'm going to sit here for a couple minutes. No birds yet, but I did hear a couple squeaking, and I took my journal out, and I'm going to write a little field notes, which, when you think about it, sometimes turn into poetry. Or don't think about it, just write what you hear, write what you observe, write what you feel, maybe what action you want to take, what questions you have, and any connections that you make to your life. So you're simply OIFACQing the experience. So here's mine, for example. This is half a page. Airplane. Grasses clanging together. The sun is bright on my face. Warm today, I take off my sweatshirt and feel the air on my arm hairs, gentle yet moving. Clouds build above the LaSalles, dark, though clear skies overhead. Grateful for this present moment. The trees creak behind me. The birds chirp, maybe 3 or 5. The trees are a monotonous gray, and I wonder if that's the same gray people with achromophobia see. But so that's a condition where you can't see any colors. So now that I look at these trees, and I'll show you which trees I'm looking at. See how they all look gray? But when I look even closer, I start to see that it seems like they're darker around the trunks, and the ones back behind that are bigger seem darker as well. So now I get to write that in the notes. What else do you see in this scene?
I say see because most of our senses come from our sight. About 70% of our sensory receptors are in our vision, or in our eyes. But we could also observe a scene based on what we smell, taste, feel, or touch, and hear.
Okay, so I saw this from way in the distance and I thought maybe it was a bird. But turns out, after I investigated, it is not a bird. So that's an inference I made, an assumption, based on the shape and form. And when I gained some more evidence, I realized I needed to make a new conclusion. And that happens a lot when we're observing things in nature and in our world. These look like some signs of spring. What are these? How do you think this plant, what strategy does it have to survive? What do you think these little seeds are going to do once the wind comes by? So this might be an example of how earth and wind work together to create more new plants. Looks like these other pods already dropped their seeds. Okay, now can we contrast that grass's strategy for seed dispersal, getting its seeds all around, with this one's? What do you think these burrs do to get to the next spot that they're going to grow a new burr? They look kind of like Velcro when you get into it, which is actually another sort of really neat principle called biomimicry. We can take ideas from nature and make things that we would use, like Velcro, from this design that's already formed. Okay, and running towards us, we have our first little animal encounter. This fat squirrel. He's checking us out. I wonder if he'll get closer. You can see from here like some features around his eyes are all white. His coat seems a little spotty. Guess I'm making an inference that's a he, it could be a she. She does seem like they have quite a bit of winter fat going. Kind of frozen. Oh, there. Oh, okay. Hello. It's coming closer. Hello. Hello. What is up? Whee! Hey, buddy. What do you think? Almost like he wants to be seen. Got a long tail. And right, like long is qualitative compared to something, not quantitative as if we had a number to say how long his tail is. And why would any of that matter? Why do we zoom in on the details of this animal? What else could we zoom into? Could think about how he lives, how they make us feel, how this relates to our life, what questions we have so we can do some more research. And we can also just be in awe. We can just feel what we feel when we are in the presence of another sentient, living, conscious organism. Let's see what happens. Bye-bye. He's like, so long! Alright, well thanks for joining us for this adventure. That has been really fun. I think we'll take the cue of our little mammalian friend and get on the trail. Okay. Alright, so that was a really fun adventure. Thanks for joining in that sitting meditation to observe, infer, feel, act, question, and connect what we're observing to real life. I just got super distracted because I saw a deer hoof in the distance. I'll show you in a second. But today we really focused in on signs of spring, which is a concept called phenology, looking at the timing of events as they happen throughout the year. So spring is just one of 4 seasons. In the desert, sometimes it's hard to see the difference between seasons. But where you live, maybe in a deciduous forest, on a mountaintop, on an island, you can sense into the changes that are happening and what time they happen at. So let's hear from one of the Elements of Change community members. Her name is the Lichen Queen, and she's about to teach us on one activity that she's really, really excited about that she can do 1 month, 1 day out of each month for the whole year to get to know her backyard. Let's hear from her. Thanks, Z. Oh, and here, ready? Here's the foot. Whoa. There you go. Ever seen a dog chewing on a bone? That might be what it is right there. And there it's connected. So many more questions now. The OIFACQ never ends.
You're really excited about doing this because what are you going to do?
We're gonna do the whole thing for the whole entire year.
Okay.
So it's looks like fall right now because they haven't cleaned their yard yet.
Okay.
But in springtime, it's gonna be like not very many leaves, but instead of it being colors, they're gonna be green.
Oh, okay.
So the background's gonna be green to show spring.
And so every day of each month, you're going to draw a picture of this tree. And how'd you choose that tree?
because it's most of the trees out there are smaller, so they don't change like as quickly. But this tree goes through like all the phases really well, and like you could tell like even if you didn't feel the like temperature, you could feel it. Like you could like see it, and like you could see that like few like not very many leaves, but green leaves. Then you're like, oh, it's spring. But then like if there's like snow on it, then it's gonna be winter. And if there's kind of like this, except maybe like piles of leaves, it's gonna be fall. And then during like the winter time, it's gonna be like snow. Here's gonna like be that.
And what do we call that when we look at each change of the season over time? Very good. Awesome. Thanks for teaching us how to do that activity. Have fun. How long is it going to take you?
12 months.
This homework that's going to take you 12 months. That's awesome.